The U.S. military expects that your audience to hold live.
The Dirty 30 Podcast.
We're back. The Dirty 30 Podcast, Episode 5.
We're excited. You're excited. The motherfucking resurrection episode, bitches.
Absolutely. This is a wonderful thing. It's been about 2 years since we've released a podcast and recorded one together. This is the first one we're doing from 2 different states at the moment.
Yeah. I think it's very fitting considering the overall theme of this podcast. We're in our 30s. Sometimes life gets in the way of your hopes and dreams, so to speak. But, you know, this has been a long time coming. Cheyne and I figuring this out, getting us back up and running on a podcast remotely. Him in Washington and me still here in California. And this is the first of many.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I think it's crazy how we're able to just completely do a podcast together. In general, we're able to just hang out, talk, shoot the shit, and just not be in the same room. But that's what's up. The internet is,
Technology is a beautiful thing, dude. You know, it's funny. What kind of led us here was our gaming. You know, we've been doing a lot of gaming, and we kind of, so to speak, got the band back together. Everyone's kind of spread out all over the place as we get older, but we're still able to keep in touch and hang out and come up with funny and creative ideas through keeping in touch that way. And, you know, so shout out to the PlayStation Network. That's what brought us this all back together, which is pretty funny, pretty exciting, but speaks to the overall technology theme we were discussing.
Yeah, Sony, if you want to, shoot us anything, this episode can be sponsored by Sony. Use promo code.
Yeah.
3030 Podcast.
Let me give you a quick example. This podcast is brought to you by Sony PlayStation. You ever fucking heard of it?
Get one. Use promo code the Dirty 30 Podcast. DTTPcast.
Yeah, and you're not going to get anything out of it. You're just going to put a code in so that we get money. It's going to be great.
One day. Sony, you hear this. You let us know.
Yeah, we see you, Sony, and one day you'll see us.
Yeah, it's great. Outside of that.
Dude, but another thing, technology-wise, that we were kind of looping that in on is we also started a fantasy football league this year.
This is very true. This is very, very true. It's competitive through, I think, half of the participants of this league. There are some people that I don't even know if they open the app anymore. But,
I'm kind of getting that vibe.
I got
to get that vibe for sure.
Yeah, but I need that win, and I'm fine with that, because I'm looking at it.
And it was a buy-in league, so if they're not checking, you know what I mean, then they're just cool throwing money away, apparently.
But it's cool. I think what's fascinating to me with it is that I reached out to just like a handful of super close friends, but a lot of the really close friends that are just in different states. Pretty much everybody's spread out now as adults. It's the part of being in your 30s, get to that point.
Ranging from Buffalo to Nevada to Washington to California. I mean, you name it. We're spread out in this bitch, dude. We're taking over.
Yeah, we got Denver in there too.
That's right.
It's crazy. But because of that, it's reconnected us with a lot of really close friends too. It's been pretty cool on that note. Plus, I've been getting some fucking wins, so I'm loving it.
Yeah, man, it's been cool. I've played fantasy football quite a bit through my work leagues and things of that nature, and it's funny to me how we started a personal friends league, and this is the first time we've ever done this. And I kind of went in thinking like, oh yeah, this is going to be my like cheapest buy-in league, and it's going to be with all my friends, so it'll probably be like my fluff league, like that I'm not going to pay that much attention to or whatever. And it within the first 2 weeks of the season, it turned into the most competitive league that I am in, just because one, how free we are to talk shit on each other, which is great. When you're in your work league, it's like you got to keep it work appropriate, so you can't call someone a biggity bitch for doing something real stupid. And
I think you can. I personally think that it's 100% okay for you to just tell someone they're being a bitch this week, only because you're playing them at the end of the week. At the end of that work week, everything gets squashed via fantasy football.
Well,
but all week working up, you should be able to just eye check someone, just look at them from across the office and just.
I checks one thing, calling someone a bitch in the workplace is the other, but I cannot lie and tell you that I haven't slipped up a couple times. Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm only human.
That's kind of something I want to touch on that. But has anybody ever made that eye contact with someone, and it's not the positive kind, just the kind where real quick it's just, man, you're a bitch. Just
that real primal kind.
It's probably some of the most fun ever. And only if it's in context. So you can't just look at people and be like, tell them they're a bitch through your eyes. They got to do something bitch worthy.
Oh, yeah. Well, naturally. You're going to act like a bitch. You're going to treat them like a bitch.
Straight up, man. That's what's up. I wanted to touch on something. We've always done a list of. And this time we kind of talked about it. We're going to, instead of doing, just a list of 10 things, we're going to be just doing a list of. And by that, I mean we could have a group of 3. There's only 3 of it on Earth, and then that's the list. Who knows? You can't do 10 things if there's only 3 things. But with that, we've narrowed down about 20 things to our list of 5 things this week, and we're talking appetizers. We're talking appetizers.
Appetizers. I mean, it's a staple to American dining and all dining around the world. It's a part of a full course dinner. You got to have the hors d'oeuvres, the appetizers beforehand to warm things up a bit. And sometimes appetizers are the unsung heroes of places. Some places strive and get carried by their appetizers. We're not going to name any names. But we will when we talk about our list of 5.
But we are going to name some names, and
we are going to name some names.
I want to start easy.
Yeah.
I want to start easy on it. I want to talk Bai Plu. It's a Japanese/Thai restaurant in Long Beach on 7th Street. They've got this hot garlic spicy edamame. Oh my god!
I've had it. And it is definitely worthy of making this list. Edamame in general is delicious, but when you add some garlic, some sesame oil, and some spicy,
it's hot,
spicy.
And when I say hot, I used hot and spicy in different contexts because it's warmed up. That's what I mean by hot. It's not just the heat of the spice that I'm talking about. They probably put it in a microwave. I mean, let's be real. It's a restaurant in America, even though they're Japanese and Thai. But it's a perfect
profits.
Split.
Profits.
You can go there and you can get, like a couple sushi rolls and then some pad thai. But we're not even talking. You guys gotta just go there. You gotta go there.
Bai Plu, Long Beach. Check it out. It's worth the trip. I guess if I'm going to throw my first one out there, I'm going to throw out the Bloomin' Onion, a quintessential appetizer. You can find it at a multitude of restaurants, all under different various names. Outback, Chili's, take your pick. We're talking the Bloomin' Onion, the Awesome Blossom. It's been disguised. It's really just a long served fair food. It's just a deep fried onion with some fucking batter that has some spices in it. And they fucking fray that onion to make it look like a bunch of little fingers that you can pick off and just dip into some delicious Santa Fe or Santa Fe colored type sauce that usually is delicious as well. But this is the thing about the Awesome Blossom or the Bloomin' Onion is that they say it's an appetizer, but if you look at the caloric count of that motherfucker, it might as well be 2 entrees. So you better have a table full of people if you're going to order one of these bad boys.
I've never seen somebody just eat one, just finish, just like imagine you went out and somebody just ordered only that and that was their main course. That would be wild.
As their appetizer, I'd like the Bloomin' Onion, please, with extra sauce.
Yeah, and we're gonna later on do an entire. I'm calling this right now. I'm gonna put it out there into the universe that later on the Dirty 30 podcast we'll do a restaurant. It might be when we're actually going to Buffalo coming up. And maybe when we're in Buffalo, we'll sit at a dinner, and we're going to be with a friend as well. Our friend Robbie's going to be with us, and maybe
Mr. Slobby himself.
Maybe what we'll do is we'll set up a microphone, and we'll just do they got all the poutine. I want to do pulled pork poutine. It's going to be insane.
We'll be able to pull remote casts. No
we'll
problem.
Do a table.
And I think I think what Shane's getting at here as well is that at a certain point in the Dirty 30 podcast, when we put out future episodes, we will have to do a table cast at a joint of our choosing to sit down and try to finish one bloomin' onion between the two of us. And I don't think we're going to be able to do it.
Yeah, I don't really like onions, so good luck.
That looks like I'm going to have to carry the load, bud, and we're going to fail, but it'll be funny to watch for anybody out there that gives a shit.
Some of my favorite stuff ever, though, is you get those big... I do like onion rings and stuff like that. It's all cooked and deep fried and shit. Who doesn't like that? But it's just taking the breading
caramelized
off
and delicious.
I just eat the breading off of the onion. It's fucking wonderful, dude. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Well, dude, that's where all the calories are, so it still fits the challenge.
Body by breading, dude. Body by breading.
All right, what do you got next?
On that exact note, fried pickles.
Ooh,
that's what I got.
Yeah, that's one of those ones where I don't even have anywhere to recommend. Actually, I do. When it comes to fried pickles, there's one place that comes to mind.
I have a place in mind.
50-50 here in Huntington Beach.
That's good. That wasn't mine. I was thinking... I was just thinking Buffalo Wild Wings, and those are so greasy and gross. But I don't know.
Yeah. When the pickles are all soggy and shit. See,
it's
all
I
about
know.
having like a crisp pickle in there. You know?
Yeah, it almost bummed me out. It almost
battered.
bummed me out. Tell me about those Slater's.
Yeah, Slater's had some decent ones. I think that they've got a decent crisp to them. But the draw about Slater's fried pickles is that they have like 90 different sauces on the menu. So if you're not a ranch type person or you're not a whatever, you can kind of experiment. Like I had fried pickles with I want to say it was like a nutmeg type sauce. It was like a fall type sauce, almost like a squash or something like that. I don't know how to explain it, but it was with like a little bit of cinnamon, almost like a candied yam type of fucking dipping sauce. And you did that with a fried pickle. And I don't know what it was about the vinegar with that like sweet flavor that was actually pretty fucking decent. But they have all sorts of stuff like that. They also have a Thai chili with sour cream sauce, and it's literally just a dollop of sour cream with some Thai chili. You mix that shit in the little dish they give you, and you could just dip some fried pickles in there, and that thing that's pretty next level, man.
Absolutely. I'm going to give a straight, just real quick honorable mention on all these appetizers because you mentioned Slater's, and I haven't honestly thought about Slater's 50-50 in like 10 years at this point. That vampire dip that they had was insane. And then they got like a new owner or something, and then they like cut it with a bunch of mayonnaise or some shit, and it got like real weird.
At first, but it was all cheese and garlic. It was like cheese, garlic. Oh man. It was ridiculous. They had to have been losing money on that thing because it was like enough for a table of 4, and it was come out and it was like $8, but it was like, some hot fire appetizers. Yeah, that's a good honorable mention, dude. I'm gonna go into a non-honorable mention though. Yeah. I'm just segueing right in, dude. Don't mean to cut you off, but I do because this one deserves the proper attention. This is Gayu Kaku's Spicy Tuna Volcano. This appetizer, Shane, I know that you're not a big sushi guy,
I like some. I like the soy paper. That's what I found the secret, dude. I like sushi now. If I go soy paper, I don't want it to taste like it lived at the bottom of the ocean. Yeah, I don't want the bottom of the ocean in my food.
All right. I like the seaweed, but that's because I think I was Japanese in a past life. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. I believe it. You love Asian food, dude. You love that Asian food, any kind.
I really do, man. I really do. It's I've always been drawn to it. I grew up with a Japanese aunt, so I always had she introduced me to so many delicious flavors, but like seaweed was one of them because we used to have the furikake that we'd put on our rice. You know what I mean? And that was just like almost like a salty, seaweedy type of, also mixed with like usually like sesame seeds and like other types of stuff that you'd throw on top of the rice, and it was just like, fuck, dude, it was so good. Along with donkatsu and other stuff. But Gayu Kaku if nobody knows, is a Japanese barbecue. So it's a cook your own food in the middle of the table, similar to Korean barbecue, but the cuts of meat and the marinades are completely different. If you don't know the difference between the flavors, then you're too white. It's just you're too white. I don't know what to say. The nuances between different Asian cuisines is vast, and I don't know, man. I've always been drawn to Asian food, so of course Gayukaku's got to make the list. And this spicy tuna volcano is a crispy rice sort of bottom, so it's just a small little rectangle of crispy rice, and then on top of that is some spicy tuna. And their spicy tuna there's good. It's got enough sesame in it, and I love my fucking spicy tuna. It just like really tastes like sesame. So it's got that on there, and then they garnish it on top with some, I believe, some jalapenos and some sesame seeds and a couple other like little delicious things. And you just dip that in some of the like spicy sauce that they have at Gayukaku, and that shit is next level, man. I've gone there and literally just ordered like 2 of those appetizers just for lunch and just fucking called it.
We've been there and we ordered like 9 bottles of champagne one time between 4 of us.
Yeah.
And
dude, that was another thing. When they first opened, they were all you can drink, all you can eat champagne brunch on weekend mornings. And Cheyne, Fish, and I, Justin, our good buddy, we pretty much put them to the test.
Somebody else was there. I can't honestly remember who it was, but I remember there's 4
I think it
of
was
us.
Peter Corzine.
It might have been, yeah. And we just fucking went for it.
Mm-hmm.
We might be the reason that they maybe our friend Bach, Justin Bach, please get back to us if you hear this and let me know if we're the reason that you guys stopped doing that. Because if you did, I would love to know.
Well, it was one of those things that it's not like it was the greatest champagne, but if you drink enough of it, you're cutting into their profits, man. Right. You really are.
And this kind of leads me to what I would just go right into or at least the one that I was thinking of. And it's not an appetizer necessarily, but, we would get all brunch drunk like that. And then later on, say in that Sunday, we'd end up at BT's Barbecue. And BT's Barbecue has this jalapeno mac and cheese with rib tips inside of it. And oof. A lot of listeners, you can go right now to the podcast app and click back 15 seconds right now. Listen to that again. Just listen to it again. It's insane. It's so good. I don't even know if it's an appetizer.
Barbecue.
You can't necessarily get that with your actual meal. It's kind of one of those table share things. That's why I'm kind of thinking of it as an appetizer, because you just get a big old share. Yeah, you get a big old bowl of it, and everyone steals some scoops because you're eating rib tips. And if you don't know what rib tips are, they cut off the tips of the ribs, so it's that gristly.
It's rich as fuck. It's
just gristle. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. BT's Barbecue in Huntington Beach is just it's beautiful. It's a beautiful place. Good beers too. And if you're a Dodgers fan, actually, it's the place to go.
Dope little barbecue spot. Probably only sits about 20 people, but has a little bar top in there. Usually has about 8 rotating taps of all good local microbrews. And the barbecue there is solid. They don't have a smoker out back. You can definitely tell they're using electric smokers in the kitchen. But it's California. This ain't Texas. You know what I mean? But it's like a good South Carolina type of barbecue. Lots of spices. Lots of like even some mustards. That mustard sauce that they have that's a half barbecue. Oh,
ooh,
dude.
Yeah, it's like a spicy brown mustard barbecue sauce type thing. I don't even know what it is. I don't know if it's a barbecue sauce or a mustard. Because it's
a barbecue
so
sauce. Mustard barbecue sauces count. A lot of like
absolutely.
Region specific barbecue places do a lot of like mustard rubs with their barbecue sauces and
but
shit.
Honestly, I want to be the dude.
Man.
I want to be the dude that labels it as a mustard because I think mustard's been getting the fucking bottom barrel of this shit. I think they should be getting the love.
Well,
they're
mustard's a bottom bitch, dude. Mustard is a bottom bitch.
It's not wrong. But you know what?
I don't mean. You know what? I misspoke. Bottom bitch traditionally would mean that it's the top earner, and I meant that as something completely different. If you know what I'm saying.
So they're top. Mustard's almost top bitch then because they don't earn the most at all. Barbecue, I think it's a lot more love than mustard in general.
And I think the top bitch would also be considered the biggest bitch, right? If you're the top bitch, then you're the biggest bitch of them all.
And those are biggity
So,
bitches. And that goes back to me calling people bitches with my eyes, dude. That's just sometimes you have to do it.
It's okay.
It's all right. I was just going to say, someone that probably likes barbecue, and we were just talking about barbecue, but I really wanted to, we had done a partying with people of the past, and I was thinking about this one recently, and we've been watching so much comedy, and I think comedy is at like an all-time high right now. It's crazy, just especially blue comedy and just real dark humor. And I think a lot of people are finally getting heard on the fact, and people are finally just admitting that they all think very dark as well. So now, but everyone's also triggered at all points. But I think there's a bigger party of people that aren't triggered at the moment. And somebody that would have just torn through these fucking crowds now, these pussy crowds, and these people that are just complaining about fucking everything. Patrice O'Neal. Imagine if he was still around, what he'd be doing to these rooms.
Well, Patrice O'Neal, it was an enigma in comedy. In a lot of ways, I think after he passed away, you could get to go look back and look at how big of an impact he had on comedy as a whole. But what's so funny in hindsight about him is how much of a comedy purist he was. And you can go back and look at his no filtered attitude approach to loving the art form of comedy so much and trying to find the boundaries and balancing and teeter-tottering on the line of what was socially acceptable to talk about and what wasn't. And he was just like that unapologetic dude that if he offended someone, he's like, then why the fuck are you watching comedy? This isn't the fucking medium for you. If that's how you're going to fucking react to some of these concepts, ideas, and things that I'm obviously saying just to make people fucking laugh, you know? And then other people that would get notoriety in comedy that weren't true to the art form and that were fucking hacky fucking con artists, he would also unfilteredly just be like, no, I don't fucking, that person's not even on my goddamn radar. They're a fucking bullshit hack artist, you know? And, I don't know. That's missing in comedy, I think, a lot more now just due to the modern PC culture. But there's a lot of dudes that are keeping it alive. And speaking of that, Bill Burr, you know, obviously one of the most legendary comedians, has established himself in the top tier of poignant idea makers. You know what I mean? And free thinkers ultimately. He was really good personal friends with Patrice O'Neal, and he did a lot of comedy with him back in the day. And I just read last week that he is creating a documentary with Comedy Central about Patrice O'Neal, which I thought was like, awesome. Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah. And there's an insane amount of people that truly have no idea who we're talking about right now. And not actually, that being said, an insane amount of people don't even listen to this to hear what we're talking about right now. But there will be someone that hears this and they don't know who Patrice O'Neal is. Do yourself a favor and just YouTube probably has the majority of it these days. I'm sure maybe Netflix has something. You could probably find some. I think
He's in The Office, dude. He's in The Office, man.
Elephant. Oh yeah, but Elephant in the Room. That is just hands down one of the best comedy specials probably ever released. I could say that. I could full-heartedly say that.
That dude was a madman. He was a fucking madman, and that's why you want to tie it into this segment of Party with People in the Past. Is like I just couldn't imagine being in New York and just fucking partying with that dude for one night and just literally hitting fucking 5 different staple comedy clubs in New York City in one evening. And just fucking breaking balls the whole time. You know what I mean? Because all the behind the scene footage you saw, all these dudes are just fucking hanging out and literally just talking shit to each other, you know? And what the biggest honor in fucking all of comedy, at this point was to fucking just get torn apart and roasted by fucking Patrice O'Neal, how fucking epic would that be? Just a rager of a night in New York City and just fucking let this dude poke fun at all of your insecurities. Just fucking just do it.
Just imagine it right now. It's almost like everybody if you just close your eyes, it's like you can hear them just pulling up, but for some reason, what's he listening? He's listening to. He's listening to mariachi.
What mariachi? What?
Oh, wait a second! It's the michelada minute.
Yeah, boy.
Get it? It's been a minute since we've had a michelada minute, but let me take a nice cold sip of this.
Cheers to all of you. This podcast is not sponsored by, but made entirely influenced with the major ingredient of micheladas.
Yeah,
Enjoy with.
It's hard to have a Dirty 30 podcast without a michelada minute. It's almost impossible to do it. Therefore, we wouldn't do that. How are we going to bring you a podcast if we don't have the main ingredient, a michelada? I wanted to ask Tim. You guys got a michelada mix, and you were telling me all about this. I want you to tell everybody about it. It was blowing my mind.
Yeah. Oh, Oaxacan restaurant in Koreatown, Los Angeles. They have like 4 or 5 different types of michelada mixes, and they have michelada like samplers, like pretty much a flight of micheladas you can get. But I just went for the original fucking just brown michelada mix, dude. And this stuff is mixed to perfection. And it's literally, I got 2 bottles of it in my fridge right now. But that's what I was going to say, is that because Cheyne's in Washington now, he does not have equal opportunity access to the plethora of michelada options that I have here in Southern California. So we're going to have to lace our boy up in Washington so that he can enjoy not a canned michelada, but a like handcrafted, beautiful michelada. Because if you're going to drink micheladas out there, people, if you put love into it, they get 100 times better.
Yeah, and if anybody out there has suggestions or recommendations on their favorite micheladas or favorite michelada mixes from local places, I know we've got friends spread out. Let us know, because maybe we can start turning this into a michelada fucking month, and we'll just do a month straight podcast. Never go off air. You'll hear us sleep. It'll be crazy, but we'll just drink micheladas for an entire month, every breathing minute.
Yeah, dude. We love you, micheladas. We'll see you next time.
On that note, I just wanted to bring in the strain of the episode, like the strain of the day. But since we're spread out, we're both going to kind of just share what we're each smoking on.
Yes, indeed. I am today smoking on strain of the day for me here in Southern California is King Louis VIII OG, a classic staple of Southern California strains. Pretty much just specific genetics and derivative of the OG strain, the ocean-grown Kush. If nobody has had that, you should. It is a heavy, heavy sedative of an indica, and it is effects, makes you relaxed, sleepy, happy, euphoric, and hungry, which sounds like pretty much every fucking strain, but I'm telling you, this thing's got a flavor profile, earthy, piney, woody, delicious to the taste, very pungent. Smells like BO, which I think is why they originally called it King Louis VIII, because apparently that motherfucker smelled. And but this is a good smell. This is a pungent that you want in your mouth. King Louis VIII.
Yeah.
How about you, Cheyne?
That one's one of my favorite strains ever. Right now, I've got a strain called Huckleberry. I believe it's a Pacific Northwest kind of strain in general. I don't know if I've ever really smoked
I've never
this
had
before. It's I feel like it's personally an indica dominant hybrid. It's definitely a hybrid. It's it sits pretty much in the middle. It's a happy, relaxed, euphoric kind of thing. I feel the relaxed more. I'm personally an indica fan, so it's more of what I was going for. But hey, it's
nothing wrong with that, baby.
Feels good to me. I'll tell you that much. And
I love that.
Just wanted to talk this day in the history music. We're going to go with, Monday. We're going with Monday the 7th, this day
of
in
October.
Music history. Yeah, October. Sorry, I totally forgot the month there.
Just throwing it out there, making sure everybody knows this day in case anybody wants to fact check us.
Absolutely.
We can try, but we know how to use the internet too. We can cross-reference. We can check validity. We're pretty solid about these facts. So let's start it. And you know what? We're kind of going to fire through these really quickly because, we've expanded on this pretty quick, a lot. And some of these just don't even need to be expanded upon. These are just facts for you guys to take in real quick. And we'll start in 1950. The Frank Sinatra show debuted. The fucking legend Frank Sinatra. The dude is the fucking silky playboy of pretty much all of American history. Little fun fact about Frank Sinatra: his family owns one of the largest liquor distribution companies in the country, and specifically, I think at one point had the contract for pretty much all of Nevada. They just fucking took care of all of Vegas. Just Frank Sinatra just distributing liquor, like a fucking silky smooth playboy he is. That takes us to 1963. The Beach Boys album "Little Deuce Coupe" was released.
Ooh, that personally, one of my favorites. One of my favorites.
Yeah,
I like the older stuff.
From their
I
poppy
like
shit,
old
not too bad.
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah. That brings us to 1978. Rolling Stones appear on Saturday Night Live. Thought that was pretty fucking cool because Saturday Night Live used to have good and real musicians, and now they just have bullshit mumble artists and pop artists, but it is what it is.
I had always heard that they hated Chinese people, so it's crazy to me that Saturday Night Live had them on because I had just remembered they said something bad about Chinese people a long time ago.
Yeah. And then fired a dude for also saying that he didn't like Chinese people. So
yeah. Come on, Saturday Night Live. Come on, Saturday Night Live. The irony is
hilarious. Lorne Michaels, you're better than this. 1981, The Time made their live debut. Morris Day and the motherfucking Time. If you don't know who they are, again, you are absolutely too white.
Straight up.
1982. Jimmy Page received a 12-month conditional discharge for possession of cocaine. For anybody that doesn't know, Jimmy Page, the legendary guitarist of Led Zeppelin. Obviously, if you know their chronicles, had one of the biggest party bands of all time. Some of the craziest stories come out of that band. Jimmy Page received a 12-month conditional discharge for possession of cocaine. Conditional discharge would have to be pretty much like probation. You can be discharged, but you can't do these things. You can't do this. And if you keep your nose clean, you're good. But that brings us to our next one. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, think about how many of your favorite riffs have been written on cocaine. That's crazy.
Da, 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 da.
But when you hear about like Zeppelin doing it, you don't think Zeppelin cocaine. People that listen to Zeppelin smoke mad weed and fucking acid and shit like that. No, he was just coked out. He was just coked out.
They trip, dog. No word. They trip. So that brings us to our next one. Just to follow that one up, Jimmy Page, cocaine. 1986, the year of my birth. Shout out. What's good? Run DMC spoke to a group of 4,000 kids at an anti-crack rally. So
cocaine's a hell of a drug, baby.
That's 1982 to 1986. You know, the difference is that, you know, the government was fucking teaching people how to rock it up and fucking really make it affordable to the black community and disparage them. And then the white community was just snorting the powder, not getting as fucked up and ignoring how fucking much it ravaged through the black community in America at the time. So learn your history if you don't know that shit. That's another thing for white people to be proud of in America.
And I think something that we can all just agree on in America, at least, or just in general, is like, you know, sometimes the man's going to try to bring you down, and you can't let that happen. And I almost want to end today's podcast on that note with Tim, will you hit Jeff Goldblum? And Jeff Goldblum kind of just brings you back to that light, because sometimes, you know, the man is bringing you down.
The man is bringing us down. But when things get dark and when things get heavy and when you feel like you got the world of the weight on your shoulders, remember, the earth still has Jeff Goldblum.
Absolutely.
And that's something we can all be grateful for, I believe, regardless of your race or religion or personal ideologies. So we'll leave you with this. Jeff Goldblum, no matter how you travel, it's still you going. Have a great day, everybody.
Have a wonderful day. Thank you, guys. We'll be back. We'll be back within the next couple weeks. Enjoy.
CIA Director James Woolsey said he expected the experiments to be reinforcements for TV and rock stars. The U.S. military expects the younger audience to fully comply.
The Dirty 30 Podcast.
Thank you all for tuning into this episode. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow us on all social media at TDTPcast.